Tuesday, August 25th, 2020. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Kozlowski.
Here.
Sheldon. Here. Morin.
Here.
Howell.
Here.
And Aquino.
Here. And if you'd all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any agenda updates?
Yes, Madam Mayor, you have two agenda updates this evening. Staff is requesting that item number 8 be continued off calendar, and item 11 has an amended staff report.
Okay, thank you. That moves us to business from the floor. This is the time when the members of the public have an opportunity to address the council on any item that's not on the agenda. But please understand that because it's not on the agenda, we cannot deliberate or take any action. So do we have any members of the public who would like to speak?
You have one request to speak from Jason Davis.
Okay, come on down. Right here, Jason, right here at this podium. There you go.
Hello, I'm Jason Davis. I've been a Folsom resident for 19 years. I've been a local business owner and have provided services to the community since 2002. The Folsom community is an awesome place to live, but it's not without flaws. I'm passionate about many issues that our community is facing. Clearly, there's a lot of attention on the pandemic, the economy, racial equality, and the raging fires in our state. These have all made us a little tense at times and possibly panicked at others. All of this can be overwhelming, and we can feel like we don't have control. However, I want to talk about a way that we can make a positive impact on our community now. For many years, I've listened to lots of talk among community leaders, business owners, residents, and social media about the homeless problem in town. If you estimate that Folsom has a population of about 80,000 people, there are approximately 100 people who do not live in a home. We are talking about 0.1% of our population. However, it's fascinating that the 0.1% is a huge part of the local conversation and concerns, as demonstrated by the attention it was given at last night's City Council candidate forum. I applaud all of the organizations and citizens who are working with the homeless to help connect them with services and provide support. The last couple of weeks, with the significant increase in temperatures, my attention was directed at this issue. The first thing that came to mind was water. I gathered water bottles and set out to ensure that the homeless people in our community were at least getting water during these scorching days. And then the smoke and ash came, so I kept going. Over the course of about 10 days, I covered about 500 miles within the city limits and distributed approximately 720 bottles of water. I want to thank the individual police officers who also took water from me and handed them out. People were extremely receptive and grateful for the water. I've outreached to the homeless community in the past, but offering water was a great way to ignite conversations that I hadn't had before. I learned about people's struggles, what they need most, and how they get through the day. One of the biggest things I learned to accept is that many people's mental health will not allow them to get out of their current situation. We can all understand that it's not easy situation to be homeless, but we may not really understand how it feels to live on the streets without basic necessities. What I've learned from my conversations with people who do not live in homes is that at a minimum, they want to maintain basic hygiene like everyone else and have 24-hour access to a clean shower, a clean toilet, and a clean sink to brush their teeth every day. I believe that it's reasonable for the city to provide access to showers and bathrooms in convenient locations 24 hours a day. This could be as simple as adding a shower to some of our public bathrooms and creating a management plan behind this. This may sound impractical at first, but with some creativity, I know it's doable. Providing this simple amenity isn't going to solve homelessness in Folsom. It's part of the human condition, and it will continue. I believe we're in an urgent triage type situation, and it's something we can do to impact this community now. I appreciate you guys listening.
Thank you. Anybody else, Krista?
We have no further requests to speak this evening.
Okay, then call the next item, please.
Your first item tonight is scheduled presentation, item number 1. This is a presentation from Heart of Folsom regarding the winter shelter.
Hi, Judy, welcome.
Thank you. It's good to be here. This was postponed because of the virus, and I'm just happy we can finally get this going. First slide, please. Okay, the Folsom Winter Shelter last year ran from mid-December through the first week in March. That was 12 weeks. Every night we were open. Our purpose was to provide shelter, food, and safety, to learn about the needs of homelessness, and to establish trust. The winter shelter is a nomad shelter. That means it goes from place to place. It is not assigned a specific location. It starts with intake, which is registration and interviews, and storage pod for people's things, which will be kept locked overnight. Transportation is then provided to the overnight site where dinner, sleeping bags, cots, pillows are provided, along with breakfast the following morning. Sometimes showers, laundry, it depends on what the site has to offer. And then other wraparound services. Sometimes the city navigator is there, a mental health team, physicians, again, as we can make those services available. Then in the morning, the guests are transported back and they pick up their things at the storage pod and they are gone for the day. This is repeated every single night. Every night, our guests are interviewed, making sure they are appropriate for the shelter that night, and every night they are provided wonderful services by our host churches. Next, please.
Okay. Judy, can we make sure we get you into the microphone? I want to make sure you get broadcast. There you go. Thank you.
Okay, let me know if I need to move around a little bit. The most important number on here is the 990 figure. That means in a 3-month period of time, we provided 990 free room nights to our community. There's safety, they're off the street, they're out of the parks, and they are warm and well-fed. The period that covers also means that there are connections between volunteers and guests that don't occur in the normal stream of life. Next, please. Okay, thought you might be interested in some of these numbers. I haven't included all of them, and if you have questions at the end and want others, I can get them for you. It is significant that the places they listed as having lived in the last 12 months mean that most people don't want to be homeless. There are some, and they will proudly proclaim it, but most people in Folsom had no intention of becoming homeless. And as they can, they will attempt to get out of that situation. The racial breakdown is fairly close to what I would imagine is Folsom's racial breakdown. Not accurate 100%, but certainly well within the realm of possibility. Next slide. Some more from our guest profiles. One of the significant numbers here was 29% women. That is significantly up from prior years. The shelter cannot accommodate underage, so we can't work with children. So these are, for the most part, single women out in the community. We would like to market ourselves for Folsom residents. We are interested in that being our served population. However, there are other people who are here in Folsom, and we always accept anyone into the shelter and then attempt to move them into areas of shelter in their hometowns, those places that they generally call home after that. Next slide, please. All right, none of these issues are surprising. If you look down the list, many of the guests are undertreated due to difficulties in getting to doctors, getting appointments, Medi-Cal restrictions, keeping prescriptions filled, and sometimes we're treating a combination of things that we have to, it's complicated. The lack of mental health treatment facilities in Folsom and in Sacramento County in general continues to be a problem. Next, please. Reasons, again, not sure these are surprising as they happen throughout our community, both in the housed and the homeless. But we have to remember that each reason or combination of reasons has a different solution. Homelessness is not one size fits all. And that's very important that we remember that. Is it frustrating? Yes. Is it overwhelming? Sure. But it's not impossible. As we motivate people to take steps forward, we see positive results in attacking causes and in giving hope. Next slide, please. All right, these are our heroes. These are citizens of Folsom signing up to spend time and resources, listening and learning and giving to others, repairing gaps in communication between homeless and housed. Heart volunteers sign up for once a week for 12 weeks. They have their shift or 2 shifts. The average number of Heart volunteers per night is 10. In addition, we're supported by supervisors, Heart supervisors, the Folsom Navigator, transport teams, transporting cots and pillows and sleeping bags, and launderers who keep us all clean and healthy. In addition to that, we have host church volunteers. These are people who sign up at their church to bring in a meal, to stay overnight. They may spend 1 night, 2 nights. They may even go to other churches than their own that are having trouble getting volunteers and spend more time there. But there's at least 2 overnight people each night. There are fire watch. There is a host church lead and 2 or 3 meal team members, and a lot of volunteers who provided meals but didn't stay. So the total number of citizens at the minimum who participated in the shelter were 350. And I venture to say if I looked at all the sign-in sheets that we keep, there'd be significantly more than that. Next, please. Okay, here's more heroes. These are faith-based communities who readjusted their own activities to reach out and serve by providing spaces and food, overnight fire watches, and emergency responses when needed. The intake site for all 84 nights and the place of our storage pod was Helping Hands Ministries on Montrose. They have done that for 2 years now. In addition, other host churches, Community Bible, Disciples, Harbor, Journey, Lakeside, Mount Olive, Muslim Community Center, Oak Hills, and Reflections, each for a minimum of 1 week, some for 2 weeks. And the next slide, more heroes. These are churches and organizations that supplied volunteers, food, and financial support. Bayside, Chicago Fire Pizza, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, City of Folsom, Olive Garden, Powerhouse Ministries, Rotary Club of Folsom Lake, Sutter Street Tuckeria, and Trinity Episcopal Church. Okay, next slide, please. Wanted to share with you some of our successes, certainly not all of them, but you ask why we have hope in sometimes a hopeless-looking situation, because we know we make a difference. We connected 6 people with employment, 3 moved into transitional housing, 2 moved into permanent housing, For 4, we arranged transportation and reconnected with families, both in-state and out-of-state. 2 were supplied with bicycles for job transportation. An additional 10 were connected with a heart mentor who continued to work with them after the shelter. 1 was enrolled in Folsom Lake College, and 1 was reunited with county mental health housing. Relationships with volunteers often extended beyond the shelter. Many stay in touch with our city navigator in order to build upon the opportunities they've now heard about. Other volunteers, upon seeing our former guests, call them by name when they see them on the street. They don't walk around. They don't avert their eyes. They don't pretend to be busy. They say, "Hi, Joe, how you doing?" And that helps keep our homeless out in the community. Okay, and our next shelter. What do we need? We always need things, but our winter shelter needs one devoted place. Transporting, working with different situations, it's difficult. Our guests are uncertain as to wherever they're going when they go in the van. Our volunteers want to know what we're doing, and it just would be so much better to have one place where everybody can understand and know the routines, and where we can perhaps have space for the navigator so they know where to find her. It just will be much more helpful with wraparound services. Then the second need is to continued increase in health resources in the immediate area. We have very few, and most of them require transportation down to the city of Sacramento. This is difficult. It usually means a mentor has to accompany the person to make sure that they get there okay and they feel okay about what's going on. The last thing we're asking for is support for transition housing. People need a place with indoor amenities when they have a job, when they're trying to get to work or have in-treatment programs. They do not need to be under a roof, an outbuilding, under a tree, in a park. This is not conducive to employment and to them furthering their career. So we work towards getting transitional housing. These remedies require proactive efforts if the situation is ever going to change. New laws may be moving our way and providing some need to go in new directions. And I would like the city to know that if HART can be of any service in any of those areas, we certainly would look forward to that. And the next slide, our last slide. Got to show you what was there the last morning of the shelter.
We try to go back. I think you might have leaned on the keyboard and cleared
Oh,
them.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. We somehow.
User error
Oh,
here.
here we go.
There you
We
go.
just added a whole bunch of them.
Okay. All right, so that's what we were greeted with on the last morning of the shelter, that beautiful rainbow. So if you have any questions or comments, I'd be glad to answer.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for all that you and Ed and your board and volunteers do. Any questions for Judy?
I have a couple. First of all, remarkable work, and thank you very much for
You're
doing
very
it. And thank you to everybody who participates. You mentioned that you aren't able to serve youth or
Correct.
children. Were there instances where you had an adult with kids that you were specifically not able to, or that you had to turn away, I guess?
We give out little bookmarks with all the information about the shelter, so people have them available around the town, and it's pretty well known that the shelter can't accommodate children because of state laws, not because we don't want to.
Gotcha. And then you mentioned that on certain days you have some medical professionals there. What has that looked like in terms of the service or the sort of, the ability to help with,
Right. Some of our
managing?
volunteers are nurses, specifically nurses in public health. We have a physician on call so that we can take a photo and send something to him, see what we might be dealing with or whether it's an emergency. And we can always talk to him on the phone and he can come in if we need him.
Gotcha.
But we would rather err at that point and call 911. Let the
Sure.
paramedics make the final assessment.
Those people are volunteering their time, though,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
It's completely 100% volunteer, and I think you should know that the Heart of Folsom has no employees. Everyone's a volunteer.
Judy, could I ask that you speak really closely into the microphone? We're getting concerns on the line that they can't hear you, so if you could just speak right into it.
Okay. And then, given the comments that we had earlier this evening, what typically is the availability of bathing facilities?
None.
None. Okay.
There are a couple of churches here in the community that can, on an occasion, offer an appointment, especially if somebody's going to have a job interview, something like that. We have some gyms, and I don't know if they're still open, that have a gym membership of $10. So some of our population took advantage of that.
Okay.
But during the 12-week shelter, there are a couple churches that have shower facilities.
Lakeside Church has a shower facility, and we were there for 2 weeks. Harbor Church brought in a shower trailer from El Dorado Hills, and we had that for 1 week, and fortunately, they were all kind of spaced apart, so that helped.
Okay.
Reflections has showers, I'm sorry, that too, and we were there for 2 weeks. So we were able to kind of, and they will accept appointments as well.
Okay. Looks like we need to add that as number 4 after medical, one home, and transitional housing.
There are trailers that are available that are quite nice. They are made to be transportable if we wanted them. A program needs to be developed to clean them, to maintain them, to set appointments. And this is something that Hart has considered doing. The cost of a trailer is about $20,000.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Andy, any questions?
Yeah, something that always interests me when I see presentations like this. So how many years has Hart been operating this program in Folsom?
3.
And so you mentioned a cumulative total, of, was it 900?
No, that was just this year.
That was just this year. What was the year before? Do you
It
have-
was a little more, I think it was 1,008.
Okay. Those interest me, and I think we all read too much these days about potential, economic carnage as far as what we're dealing with the COVID
Yeah.
issues, and we read stories about this potential, eviction cliff that's coming. So
And I think that has a good potential.
yeah, so I'd be interested if your organization is really starting to feel the effects of that, if this actually does start to occur, there isn't enough stimulus being pushed back into the economy to help these folks, to see if and how rapidly an organization like yours really starts to see and feel the demands for your services.
We do not see it yet. We expect it to be coming.
Okay,
It is, we have too many people in the city that are living week to week.
right.
And when those past rents that they were able to push forward come due, that this could be a big problem.
Yeah. No, very good. And again, I echo what Mike shared as far as just the incredible service in the community. Thank you very much.
Well, it's a blessing. Thank you.
Carrie?
Yep, thank you guys for everything that you guys do. Have you spoken to any of the churches, particularly those that do have shower facilities, in having any interest? I know it's got to be difficult because I know all those churches have nighttime activities, or many of them do. Has anyone expressed any interest in being able to spread it out?
Well, as I say, both the churches that do have showers will take appointments when we have the need for someone to really, not just, I feel the need of a shower, but have some purpose for it. Otherwise, they would be inundated all the time with
Okay.
soap and showers.
All right.
So we do have that ability, but it would be really nice to be able to, it has been suggested that perhaps 4 or 5 of the local heart organizations could get together, and one day a week would be in Citrus Heights, one day a week in Folsom, one day a week in Rancho.
With that trailer that you talked about?
Correct, being moved from, and that way we can share the cost a little bit better. But that involves a driver and gas and all that good stuff.
All the ones that get used at NASCAR races are available probably right now.
That's true. Were you going to check on that for us?
I'd be happy to.
Okay.
Yeah.
That, to be honest, that's a really good idea.
I'm serious. They have like semi-trailer size shower facilities that are for the campgrounds at big events like that, so.
And nobody's going to NASCAR races right now except, cardboard figures, so.
Ernie, do you have any questions?
None.
Okay. I have a couple questions, Judy.
Yeah.
So the desire to move from the nomadic, where you're rotating churches every week to one place, is that due to COVID, or you're just trying to change to that model?
No, we are trying to change to that model because it takes such amount of effort, time, et cetera, to move everything, to get it all set up, that it just makes sense that if we need somebody to come and visit us, that we have a place for them, regardless, whether it's during the shelter or just all year round, and then we use it for the shelter when the shelter is available. But our churches have been very faithful, and they have stopped what they're doing, changed out everything to fit our needs. Many times just, we're in their worship center. That they're taking pews out so that we can be there. So we've done this for 3 years. I have no doubt that if asked, they will continue, but it just seems to me like there's a smarter way of doing it.
And I need you to come up to the microphone in just a second. There are other cities in the region that have heart
Yes,
organizations.
there's 8 of us now.
How do they do it? Do they do the nomadic model, or do they, okay, and are they looking to also, that's the ideal for everybody, is to do it at one place?
Well, it originated in the city of Davis, and then it went to Elk Grove, and then Rancho, and then we started a number of other hearts, and that has been a formula that has worked. None of them have designated shelter spaces either. With the COVID this year, we are finding that there are some that are not going to do a shelter. They just don't have the staffing or the transportation. Transportation is a big deal with COVID and keeping things sanitized, so.
Okay. So if you had to pick your ideal shelter, right, the facility, where would it be located? Obviously, you would want it to have showers and laundry facilities. That would be ideal, but.
That would be ideal.
If you could wave a magic wand, Judy, what would it look like, and where would it be?
It would be in a central location, closer here into Old Folsom area, or the immediate surrounding suburbs, because that's where most of our homeless are. It would have restrooms that would accommodate 2 or 3 people per male and female. It would have a shower. It would have an office space for the navigator, and perhaps a conference room where she could meet with people, or others, mental health associates could during the day meet with someone. Volunteers could staff it, much like they do our cooling center at the moment. It could serve as that in the summertime, certainly. A multi-purpose use, I think, could be made available for a dedicated space.
Okay. And so I think it's your agreement, is it your agreement with the city, or something allows you to have a maximum of 20 individuals per
An
night?
ordinance with the city.
Okay. And I don't recall seeing it on there, but do you know off the top of your head how many nights last year you hit the 20 maximum?
We did not. 19 was the maximum. And when I started looking back, wondering about that, it became clear that we were much more proactive in finding places, getting people back to families, getting them into transition housing where they normally would stay for the length of the shelter. We were able to move them on. So I feel confident that that's one of the reasons why we had maybe 15 less guest nights than the year before.
Okay. I have a couple questions for you, Mr. City Attorney. When the 12-week winter shelter is in effect, is the city allowed to enforce our no camping ordinance?
It depends. It depends on how many homeless individuals we have in the city of Folsom at any given time, and compare that to how many facilities we have to accommodate the individuals in the city of Folsom. So if we have a need for 80+ individuals per night, that means we have to have more than that number in the number of beds in order to allow us to enforce the camping ordinance.
And what number are we using? I mean, if you use a point in time count, they said we have 17 homeless individuals in Folsom. We know that's not correct, but I mean, what's the official number that you're using?
Point in time count.
What's that?
Anytime. A point in time count.
Point in time count.
Correct.
So theoretically, if there were 17 people counted as homeless during that point in time count, and we have a 20-bed shelter, we should be able to enforce the no camping rules during that 12-week.
That is correct.
As we sent a letter to the city, to the council, letting you know that that 17 number was absolutely incorrect. They did not include even the people at the shelter that night. Since then, in May, the point of time count was officially updated. So we're talking about 35 maybe as the number. And if you talk to your city navigator, she will tell you there's between 75 and 125 as a steady number.
The problem with that is I don't think that the county ever actually officially updated the point in time count. When Elaine sent the count to me, I immediately called and said, did you transpose a number? Because 71
Yeah.
seemed like it would be a better number
Yes.
than 17.
Yes.
I know the navigator, the police department, all of the folks in Folsom that are involved in the homeless, in helping out the homeless, some of whom are sitting in the room tonight, would agree that the number's closer to 70.
Yeah.
So that whole thing about trying to enforce that, if you go to 3 homeless camps for people that are still out that night, you're going to find the numbers much bigger, and they can't accommodate them. So I don't know how we enforce that anti-camping thing.
Okay.
Because it's completely ridiculous that, the Folsom PD and everybody told them, you're going to the wrong places. That's not where they are. And they just insisted, no, we always go to the same place every year.
So
The time, frankly, the count.
you mentioned a couple of veterans. Do we try to connect them with veteran services?
Absolutely, and that's a pretty quick connection usually. Usually we can get a hold of VA services, the Veterans of Foreign Wars here, the VA itself has call-in centers, and if we can just get them with probably a mentor to make the phone call. Some of these people are just so discouraged. They've tried and they've tried and they've tried, and they don't get the right number, they get hung up on, they're sick, they just give up. So if we can connect with them to move them forward, and hopefully we get the right people on the line, we've had good success. And there are veterans in our community who help us as well.
And final question from me, Judy. Is there any, you've been doing this for 3 years now, but let's call it long-term. Is there any long-term tracking that happens? So for example, your successes from year 1 or year 2, do you know where those people are? Are they still, they haven't relapsed, for lack of a better word, I can't think of what would be better. But, if somebody was moved to transitional housing or permanent housing, are they still there? Or do we know if they're back on homeless or?
I do not know, except on an individual basis by chance. Our mentor director at Heart and our president they both connect with the transition house, and the mentor reports are all filed And we have a database for that, so they may be able to have those. I will tell you that there are some people who I say hello to year after year after year. There are others that are brand new. It's always exciting, but it's really feels good to know that even though they're still homeless, they know they're cared for. They know we have the navigator. They know that Heart is there. We offer opportunities. That's all we can do.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody from the audience who wants to speak to this? It's an important topic. Lori, did you want to come say some things? I know, if you do, I need you to come to the podium.
No, I was just interested in what we were.
Okay. Nobody from the public. Okay. Any other questions or comments for Judy?
Thank you, Judy,
Yeah,
for
thank you
everything
so
that you
much.
and your
And if
group
you have
does.
any others after the meeting and want to get in touch with me, they have my contact information.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, next item, please.
Your next item this evening is your consent calendar, and just as a reminder, item 8 has been pulled off calendar, and item 11 has been amended.
Okay,
I need to pull 7 and 10 to recuse myself because Black and Beach and West Yost are clients of mine.
okay.
But I would be happy to move the rest of the consent calendar.
Okay, so we have a motion to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 14. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Kozlowski,
Yes.
Sheldon,
yes,
Moran,
Yes.
Howell,
Yes.
and Aquino.
Yes.
So you have items 7 and 10 still to consider?
I'll move 7 and 10.
Second.
Okay, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kozlowski,
Yes.
Sheldon,
yes,
Moran,
Yes.
and Aquino.
Yes. Okay, next item.
Okay, your next item this evening is public hearing item number 15. This is resolution number 10507, a resolution amending Exhibit A to resolution number 10491 regarding the off-site water treatment plant set-aside fee in the Folsom Plan area, and that's related to the specific plan infrastructure fees. Presenting tonight will be Finance Director Stacy Tamani.
Go ahead, Stacy.
Stacy, you might be muted.
Well, we had this item last time. Does anybody need a presentation on item number 15?
I do not.
I do not either.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, Madam Mayor, other than this is a public
Right.
hearing item.
Okay, we will go ahead and open the public hearing. Is there anybody from the public who would like to address this item?
Ms.
And-
Tamani is texting with me, so if you do have a question, I'd be happy to relay it
Okay.
by text.
Okay. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing.
I'll move the item and thank Stacy for her staff report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
And just, that's 2 resolutions, right? 10507 and 10491.
No.
That is correct. Two
Okay.
resolutions separately, please.
Okay.
Okay, separately? Okay.
Steve?
I apologize. There's only one resolution. We're amending the previous
Right,
resolution. I
okay.
misread it.
Okay.
Okay, we still have a motion and a second.
Councilmember Kozlowski,
Yes.
Sheldon,
yes,
Moran,
Yes.
Howell,
Of course.
and Aquino.
Yes. Next item, please.
Okay, your next item is item number 16. This is City Council discussion and recommendation regarding an ad hoc committee for regional water collaboration study and direction to staff. Presenting tonight will be Environmental and Water Resources Department Director Marcus Yasutaki.
Do we have Marcus?
Sataki, Environmental and Water Resources Director. The item before you this evening is for discussion and possible representation of a city council member on an ad hoc committee for a regional water collaboration study. The study involves the City of Folsom and 6 other water agencies as identified in the staff report. And what we are seeking to do is to identify potential maybe purchasing power, sharing of resources, equipment on a regional level. And this is a study that's underway. Some analysis has been done so far by the consultant team to pull background information on all the agencies, number of customers served, budget information, et cetera, that type of information for each of the agencies. And what they will propose to do as the study goes along is identify opportunities where we might be able to collaborate as a larger consortium. So part of the work product is to develop and present the information to an ad hoc committee, which is or can be made up of staff from the agency or the city in this case, and or a council member or 2, just so that we would avoid any potential Brown Act concerns, and basically looking to see if there is any interest from any of the city council members that would like to sit on the ad hoc committee. I will be on the committee as a staff member for the city, and I will turn it over to Mayor Aquino or any of the other council members if they wish to either ask any questions or discuss the potential participation.
Does anybody have any questions, or would anybody like to serve on the ad hoc committee?
I actually think this is an excellent, excellent idea, Marcus. I'm glad that it has come up, and I would be happy to serve on the committee.
Okay. Anybody else dying to serve on this committee?
I offered to serve on the committee also, only for the purpose of trying to avoid us ending up with another regional agency that we end up subservient to for funding. But I will absolutely second Ms. Howell's appointment
Because
to
I don't
this.
do subservient well.
Exactly. So knowing that you want to do this, I'll second your nomination.
Okay. Is that what we have to actually formally do, nominate someone?
It's entirely up to the council. If you want to just appoint someone with council's concurrence, you, the Madam Mayor, you can do so. Otherwise, we can float a motion and just call the roll.
I will appoint Councilmember Howell to this committee unless there is any objection.
Because I'm so demure.
Go get him.
Okay. Thank you. All right, next item.
All righty, thank you all.
Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, your last item this evening is item number 17. This is consideration of an appointment of a representative to the Sacramento Metro Cable Television Commission Board of Directors.
And since I just got appointed to the water thing, I think one of you guys has to do it.
I could just jump in here. I'm not volunteering, obviously, for obvious
Andy,
reasons.
didn't you serve on the cable commission?
I served on the cable commission for, was it 8, 10 years?
And
maybe?
then they kicked
told
this
you.
off?
Yeah, so it's not very time intensive. It is interesting, if I remember right, and Krista might remember some more updated numbers, but I believe the Cable Commission collects about $10 million a year, at least when I was last serving on the commission. Probably 80 to 90% of that is just divided up on a per capita basis to the member agencies. And then there's about $1 million that goes to programs like Access Sacramento, the Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium. And then a lot of what's been redone here in the council chambers is actually funded by the Cable Commission and actually voted on by the commissioners to, make sure the expenses are appropriate and things like that.
Wow,
So
does Andy sound like the perfect person for
it's,
this?
well, I
As
sat
well
on
as a
that for
commitment to
long time.
training a future council member?
They have, I don't know if Bob Davidson is still the executive director, and I think Karen Liu was the executive assistant or whatever. So if they're still on there, they're tremendous. So it is not a major time stealer. Are they meeting once a quarter, Krista?
That's correct. They're meeting.
Krista has a little paper she's dying to read.
There we go.
I was merely going to provide the background information. But Councilmember Moran is correct. One of the important duties of the Cable Commission Board of Directors is to allocate the PEG funding, which is public educational government funding. It's an amount that Cable Commission subscribers pay on their bill, and then the Board of Directors, they allocate that out for governmental access projects. And again, Councilmember is correct. We used that funding when he was on the commission to do a lot of the upgrades, and we'll be putting in another request this year to fund a lot of the needed upgrades that help the council with public outreach.
Okay.
So the reason the city didn't have a seat before is the Sacramento County Code established the Cable Commission, and there's a threshold of $80,000 residents in each city in order to qualify to have a seat. Now, Folsom just met that threshold according to numbers reported by SACOG. So as of July 1 is why we just now became eligible to have our own seat on the commission.
What seat did Andy occupy before?
Andy, Councilmember Moran occupied the shared seat that Folsom used to share with Ileton and Galt,
okay.
and we would rotate membership. And he was on there until the other cities decided they would like a turn.
Yeah, it was really interesting because, I occupied that seat, so Galt and Ileton were
Right.
just happy to just let
content.
someone else do it. And then Galt, I believe, appealed to their city clerk, appealed to Krista and said, listen, how about we rotate this? And I said, wow, I am very supportive of rotating the seat, so.
So you are correct. The commission meets quarterly, and we do need to say that the board members receive $120 per meeting.
Okay. So we'll probably get 2 meetings before we're going to reshuffle all these things anyway or reassign based, new council members. So it's probably me or Mike. I'm happy to do it, but if you want to do it, yeah, it's all yours.
I see no harm in Councilman Moran doing it since he has some experience.
And I'm betting they'll do backflips when you walk back into that meeting. They'll be so
Yeah,
happy to have you
yeah,
back.
I'm sure.
Are you
Yeah.
willing to do it?
I'm happy to do it if others are happy to have me do it.
We're happy to have you do it. Okay.
Okay, I will do it.
Okay, then I will appoint Andy Moran unless there is any objection. Okay, you got it.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, city manager reports.
Hello, everyone. Our hearts go out to those affected by California's wildfires and those fighting them. Many thanks to both our Folsom Fire and police personnel who have served in mutual aid roles to help where we can. Smoke from those wildfires has caused poor air quality in our region recently. Please watch for and abide by air quality warnings. Thankfully, air quality is forecasted to improve over the next few days, so effective tomorrow, we are able to reopen amenities that we were forced to close for a brief time due to air quality concerns. And those include the Folsom City Zoo Sanctuary, curbside library services, the Steve Miklos Aquatic Center, the Cummings Family Skate and Bike Park, and sports conditioning, fitness, and recreational classes on City of Folsom fields and outdoor facilities. The City of Folsom Cooling and Clean Air Center, which has been open for about the last 2 weeks, will remain open through tomorrow, August 26th, right next door at 48 Natoma Street, from noon to 7 p.m. Many thanks to our specially trained CERT volunteers and also church volunteers who stepped up in our community to staff that center. Folsom will continue its annual Community Service Day for the 7th year, serving our community while protecting the safety of our residents, staff, and volunteers in the COVID environment. There are many opportunities to safely serve the community through planned donation drives, at-home projects, and socially distanced outdoor projects. Visit www.folsomcommunityservice.org to learn more and register to volunteer. And finally, Sutter Street will again close to motorists this weekend to allow restaurants and merchants in the historic district to expand and welcome more diners and shoppers outdoors in historic Folsom. The road closure will take place from this Friday at 2 p.m. through 7 a.m. on Monday, and we hope you'll take every opportunity to shop and dine locally during these tough times. Thank you.
Thank you. Carrie, have anything?
The usual, there's people that are speeding, people are driving like maniacs, and it only seems to be getting worse. There's been some bad accidents recently. People, please pay attention. Just because there's less traffic on the road doesn't mean that every street in Folsom is, a raceway. Stop signs apply to you. Red lights apply to you. Yellow lights mean the light is about to turn red, so slow down, not step on the gas. Somebody's going to get hurt, so please behave intelligently.
Okay, thank you. Andy?
Yeah, and Elaine mentioned this, but I don't think enough can be said for the, the efforts all across the state fighting these fires and mentioning kind of our local efforts. What a lot of people probably don't realize is when we have Folsom Police or Folsom Fire actually responding and supporting at these fire locations, all our support here is working harder because we don't lose any level of service here. It's just people are working longer hours to make sure our community remains safe as it always is. So my sincere thanks to all the efforts of our Folsom police and fire departments, and it just doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon. So wish them all the best. Also, just mentioning the closures of the streets on Sutter Street. My thanks to the city and the Folsom Greater Partnership, everybody trying to work with, especially the small business community. Survival is really tough right now, and anything that can be done. And I stepped into this position while you all were really wrestling with a lot of this. So, my thanks to your sensitivities to, really doing everything that a city and, certainly the Chamber of Commerce, Folsom Chamber of Commerce, as far as really assisting those folks. And then lastly, I will just wish our 7 city council candidates the very best. We know that is a rigorous process and it's a lot of hard work. So those 7 candidates participated in a forum last night, and I think Folsom has a lot to choose from there. And I wish all of them, what do we have? Rosario, Jaya, Justin, YK, Mark, and Janine. So all the best to them. And we'll see what happens this next election. Is it November 7th?
3rd.
November 3rd. So,
And this is going to be a weird year because none of the normal rules even apply. My heart goes out to those people for trying to come up with creative ways to connect to the public right now.
Campaigning just gets turned on its head, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
So yes. But anyway, all the very best. That is a rigorous process, and I wish them the very best.
Thank you. Mike?
I was very, very pleased to be an audience member for
Yeah,
that
isn't
last
that-
night. It was delightful to be on the other side of that camera. And I will say that I think they further strengthened my position that we have an incredibly deep bench of smart, capable people here in Folsom. So great job to everybody. And then I just, the mayor invited me to join her for some office hours on an extremely hot day, the first day we closed Sutter Street. And we got to talk to a bunch of our neighbors. And in spite of the very, very hot temperatures last Saturday, it was delightful, and good work to everybody in the historic district for making that happen. And I wish you great luck. Everybody should get down there the moment that they get the opportunity to.
Thank you. Ernie, you have any comments?
Yes. Madam Mayor, I request that you get together with the city manager at the earliest convenience and put on the agenda, hopefully for the next one that we discuss, the item of 3 rusty pipes in the sewer system in Eagle Creek. There's been a lot of confusion on that, and I think it deserves another and an immediate city council action on that. So I request that be put on ASAP so that we can have another dialogue on that and fix that problem once and for all. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Ernie. And I just want to report out to the council. I had a meeting today. The SMUD board members, Rob Kurth and Brandon Rose, and their government relations director, Steve Johns, just wanted to update the city on some things that are happening at SMUD. So similar to our general plan that we work off of, they have a 2040 energy plan with the goal being net zero carbon future by 2040. They adopted that in 2014. They told me that SMUD rates are 35% below PG&E rates, so nice to have them here in Sacramento County. They talked about areas in our region moving to all electric homes, particularly some areas south of 50 in unincorporated Sacramento County are all electric homes, so they have no gas water heater, no gas stove, that sort of thing. City of Sacramento is considering an ordinance that would require all new single-family homes to be all electric, probably by 2023. Their estimate is that when you go all electric and you don't have to plumb for gas and all that sort of stuff, it reduces the cost of a single-family home by $7,000.
Thank you, my home value just went up.
They talked about, they're doing a value of solar study. They have about 600,000 rooftops currently that have no solar, 25,000 that do. And they said the non-solar customers are currently subsidizing the solar because when SMUD buys the excess energy from those solar customers, they pay retail rates rather than wholesale. So they may be doing a little tweaking of their rates, and we may hear from some solar folks, but they wanted to assure us they're not anti-solar. They also talked about the neighborhood solar share program as it relates to the California Building Code that says that all new homes constructed as of January 1st this year have to have rooftop solar. It will give builders or home buyers the opportunity to opt out of having the rooftop solar, and then they can, buy it from a solar farm or whatever. And then they also are doing no shutoffs through the rest of the this calendar year due to COVID. That's for residential as well as commercial customers. They have very generous repayment plans. And I think that's it. So it's a lot of good information. So it is 7:26 and we are adjourned. Thank you.